I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader TV. Well, Respectance is a site where you could share memories with loved ones. And joining me to talk about Respectance is Richard Derks. He's the Chief Marketing Officer. He's also the co-founder. Richard, thanks for joining us. Now, your partner had the experience that led to this idea. So give us the genesis of the idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a very personal story, but we can always talk about it because it will happen to everybody. Todd and me, we were working in Europe and we were traveling a lot, but originally Todd is from Canada. So what happened, when he was in Poland for business, his mother passed away. At that time he had 3 days to move back to Canada and to be there for the service, and he simply couldn't make it in time. That's a really sad story, but so what he had to do is call his family, call his father, his sister, the neighbors that his mother lived. And in fact what he found out is that his mother was not just his mother, but she was also a wife, you know, and she was a sister, and she was also a businesswoman, and he never thought about her as such. And then we started talking about it, like, okay, this is really powerful because my mother is so much more than I always thought she was. Why don't we do something over the internet with this? And that combined with the fact that everybody always says, like, internet takes away distances, you know, we came up with this idea.
And you were able to gather information from all of her relationships into one portal. Your partner was on our site on Vader, and in his pitch he talked about how big a market opportunity this is. It's quite a somber question, but how big is the death industry? Because that's what he actually calls it on the site.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's not really the death that we're focusing on, even though maybe it seems like it when you watch the tributes. We are really focusing on sharing memories. What we want people to do is share the memories they have about people. But if you ask directly, like, okay, what is the market size in the US? In the US alone, there are about 2.4 million people who pass away every year. So that's, say, the size of the market. But there are many niches in that market, and meaning there are so many people who have already passed away. We launched it and we thought, well, this is for people, you know, who are going to pass away today or tomorrow. But some people came and they started creating tributes to people they lost maybe 10 years ago or much longer, and they were really happy to have this place because they could finally give them a place online.
So are you focusing on those people, the 2.4 million people, or the people that you just mentioned who passed away 10 years ago, or are you focusing on, say, the sympathy industry where there's, I believe, $500 million spent on sympathy cards?
Yes, exactly. This is part of the business model. We give away everything for free, in fact, so far, meaning that you can set up your tribute, you can become a member, doesn't cost you anything. But of course we know that a lot of money is spent on sympathy cards, on sending flowers to people, on making nice memory albums, etc. And that's where our business model is based on. On top of that, we've got like also a charity model, meaning that we are setting up relationships right now with charities like breast cancer foundations, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Alzheimer Foundation. We are talking to those people, and if people who created tributes want that the family or the friends will donate money to these charities, then they can select them, and that will be possible through the website.
Have you thought about relationships with, say, the New York Times, the obituary section, or the Economist obituary section, where you'd have a link where if you know this person, I don't know, contribute your thoughts, or does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, yeah. Okay. Right now we think that we are probably not big enough for them, but we are the biggest idea for them.
Okay, so how do you get... There are a couple of companies on our site. Web Biographies is one, Our Story, and they try to help people create these tributes for their friends or create sort of these personalized scrapbooks for events, like so let's say your 50th birthday or 50th wedding anniversary. So how, and I think that the challenge for a lot of these companies is really acquiring new users. So what are you doing to acquire new users?
New users. Well, we're doing a lot of things. We're setting up right now partnerships, commercial business members with funeral homes, for instance. That's one thing we're doing. We are improving the services for funeral homes. But more importantly for us, the site has to be very viral. sort of virality. That's something that we're working on right now. And say almost weekly, we're checking out the statistics, how it's working out, where we can improve. I think the thing that we see happening right now in a website is that, and you are right there, there are a lot of people who create tributes for themselves when they are still there, or people who create tributes for their children who are, well, alive and kicking, you know. And we wonder, like, why do they do that? And that's probably because they do not have a place where they can do it in a nice way, or by accident they came to us. So now we are really ramping up the model so people can share the memories of those people as well.
Now, how do you retain that customer once you acquire them? Because it will be around an event, around a tribute, but then beyond that, what are they going to do on the site?
That's funny. We are learning a lot of things here. We had some ideas in the beginning, like this is how it's going to work. But now we have been live for almost 2 months. We see that things are turning out a little bit differently. What we saw is, for instance, there was this this family who put their father on there, and then the father had his birthday, and all of a sudden there were a lot of memories coming from all around. So what happens, people go there and they celebrate the birthday of the father, even though he's no longer there, and they start sharing these memories, and that's really powerful.
So if you're not a standalone company, say a year or 2 years from now, maybe you will be, but who would be sort of a big, large partner that can help you distribute your product?
Honestly, I think that it's going to be a media company. Yeah, they will be very interested in this.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because in the end, we are all turning into some kind of celebrity. You know, everybody wants to be remembered, and people like to read about themselves and about what's happening near to them. And when you read newspapers or important websites nowadays, you see that the main page news is people passing away or tragic incidents happening, etc. And that makes a large part of the news. And not only internationally or nationally, but also locally. And we are combining all of that within our website. We give a face to these events.
That's why I said partnerships with New York Times or Economist.
You are so right.
So tell us about, lastly, just you've been around 2 months. What are some of your metrics?
We have really tens of thousands of visitors. So we're really happy with that, because the only thing we did so far was get press attention, which was nice. We even made it to TechCrunch, amazing.
And Vader.
And Vader TV, yeah. We were really happy with that. And so that's been going on. And what we see with the members that we got is that 40% of our members create tributes. And that's been above our expectations.
What are the 60%? So they're just voyeurs, they're just watching?
They're watching, leaving memories, maybe uploading photos or creating videos, or becoming a member of our groups. Okay,
and your funding status? What are you? Are you looking to raise money right now?
Right now, we are funded by angels and by 2 VC companies from Europe, and they're backing us up. But we're looking to get a second round somewhere in the first quarter of 2008.
Okay, how much are you looking to raise?
We don't know yet.
Sure. No. Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you so much.
I've been speaking with Richard Derks. He's the Chief Marketing Officer and the co-founder of Respectance. I'm Bambi Francisco.